Hey guys, Dr. Taylor here with Tennessee Center of Integrated Medicine. So I just want to run through one of the important tests for leaky gut and really just overall good gut health. And that's a GI map, as you can see up here. Like I said before, it's a single stool test, so it's just a one sample, but we get a ton of information from this kind of testing. So people that suffer from like leaky gut or chronic pain, fatigue, skin issues, hormone imbalances. Lots of times, the first place we go is to the gut, to the GI system. So I just want to walk through this a little bit with you. Just kind of take a 10,000-foot view, so you can see what one of these tests look like, and then you're going to see how much information that you get from this test. So this is actually my test, as you can see here. There's me, James Taylor. So I'm just gonna run through my test with you of what you found because I've actually had a history of a lot of digestive issues, IBS, bacterial overgrowth. So you'll get to kind of take a glimpse at me here as we walk through this. So on this first page of the GI map through diagnostic solutions, we run through just some bacteria, some parasitic pathogens, some viral pathogens. Um, as you can see, basically there's the DL is detectable limit. And there's a certain range that we want these to be in. And as you can see on mine, all these different little bugs, they're underneath a certain limit, and that's good. That's a good thing. We don't want too much of it growing. So as you can see here, front page pathogens, we got bacterial, parasitic, and viral pathogens that we're looking at within the stool, within the GI system of the body. So let's move on to the next one. So next is H. pylori. So typically that's a stomach infection. If it overgrows, you can get symptoms like GERD and acid reflux. So it's nice to see if that's a factor for patients, definitely with an upper GI type symptom. As we move down here, we have normal bacteria flora. As you can see on mine, my Clostridia class is a little low. Bacteroids, a little low as well. That's okay. Everyone has their own kind of fingerprint with these normal bacteria. Everyone's microbiome is unique, just kind of like your fingerprint is to you. But there's different types of bacteria, Clostridia, that live within the GI system. I mean, trillions of these guys. So having a little different discrepancies between some different classes is perfectly fine. So here's the next one. So here's where a lot of my bacterial overgrowth comes into play. As you can see here, these are the additional or dysbiotic overgrowth type bacteria. So a lot of people or a lot of patients that suffer with SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or just bacterial overgrowth in general, these will be elevated. And as you can see, that's exactly how mine is as well. So the Bacillus species and these other Pseudomonas, Strep species, all these are elevated, and that can create symptoms of bloating, diarrhea, gas, all those kind of symptoms going on within the GI system. Um, this next set of bacteria are the potential autoimmune triggers. So if you go to PubMed or just do your research, you'll see that there's specific type of bacteria that will trigger specific autoimmune reactions within the body. So with that being said, if you're suffering with any type of autoimmune disease, whether it's like Hashimoto's or rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, all the others, you want to do a stool analysis to see if you have an elevation of these type of bacteria within the body. Incredibly important. So the next one is just the fungus and yeast. So maybe you've heard of a candida overgrowth or yeast overgrowth. That's this guy here. You want to make sure that's in check. Again, it's a normal flora of the GI system, but it's all about balance. Then we have different viruses here, cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr. We can pick that up in the stool. We have different parasites, protozoa. We have worms. Thankfully, I didn't have any of that in my GI system, but they're definitely there, and you want to make sure that's not a factor for a patient as well. So we have some other markers as well for intestinal health. We have digestion. First one's steatocrit, so that's basically telling us how well we're digesting fats and absorbing fats. If you're not doing well on fat absorption or breakdown, that's going to be high. It's going to be above 15% here. Elastase is a marker for the pancreas, so you want to make sure you're producing enough digestive enzymes from the pancreas, and this is a good marker for that right there. So mine's at 416. Glucuronidase is another good GI marker. So that glucuronidase basically, if it's elevated, it will prevent you from detoxing certain chemicals and even like estrogen. So for some people, if they have a really dysbiotic gut, this number here is going to be way above, right around 2,500, and then you can get into just reabsorption of toxins into the portal system, and then basically overloads the liver on its detox abilities. Blood, occult blood is just what is. It is what it sounds. It's just blood. I didn't have any blood in my stool, so that's always a positive. Um, Now let's talk about the immune response here. So secretory IgA. So this one, this can give you a good clue on what's going on inside the gut. So secretory IgA is the primary or the first immune response within the GI system. Kind of the cool thing about secretory IgA is that it doesn't produce any inflammation at all. So if you eat something that may be a little moldy or had a bacteria in it, or even maybe like a parasite or something like that, secretory IgA is going to be the first thing to attack whatever that foreign thing is inside your GI system. And if it's an acute response, if it's something that just came on suddenly, it's going to shoot your number. So mine was 337, which is low. But if it's an acute response, it's going to shoot it above this 2,000 mark. So what this tells me about myself, this 337, is that it's chronically low, is that I've probably have had a problem for a long time, like years. So this could be like a mycotoxin exposure, eating food sensitivities, chronic stress. All those things will decrease your immune response within the GI system. The next one is this anti-gliadin IgA marker. So this is basically your gluten. So gliadin is the protein in gluten and wheat flour. So I'm not really sensitive to gluten. So that's kind of that's a nice thing, that if I eat that every once in a while, it's not going to spark inflammation within the GI system. The next one is an inflammatory marker, calprotectin. So this is I won't say a complete predictor, but it precedes the inflammatory bowel diseases, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, those kind of things. Those will be elevated with those type of diseases. Or if you just have a severe dysbiotic gut, or you're just eating things that you shouldn't be, the calprotectin marker will definitely rise above 173. And finally, a very important one is this zonulin marker. So this is your leaky gut marker. So leaky gut here, I don't have leaky gut on this stool test, so it should be under 107. Mine was at 22. But for someone that has, again, just chronic food sensitivities, chronic stress, just eating the things they shouldn't be eating, or if they have a mold exposure or mold illness, lots of times that will make our gut go leaky. It increases the intestinal permeability to help fight off whatever foreign invader there is the body's trying to get rid of. So that will definitely make the zonulin go high. So if we see a high zonulin, we have to do some digging to figure out exactly what's causing that trigger. Same thing with secretory IgA. Going back up here, mine was 337. Just a little insight about myself, I actually had a chronic mycotoxin exposure that was depleting my immune system in my gut. So that's something that we eradicated. But I hope you found this video useful. Again, it's kind of like a 10,000 foot view of a very useful functional medicine test, the GI MAP stool test. Again, if you're suffering from autoimmune disease, chronic gut issues, acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation, IBS, whatever it may be, then you need this test. It's an amazing test to help clear things up and get to the root cause issues of what's going on. Again, I hope you like this video. Dr. Vince Taylor. I'll see you next time.